Hey everybody, welcome to Review with Me, your review guide of shows, movies, and everything in between. Be sure to click the like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's get on with this review. Hello, hello. Let's get into it. This is exactly how I'm looking at Rhonda. Like, really, bitch? Really? That's that same look she's giving to Pat. That's the same look I give to her every time I watch an episode and she's with the shits again. We are reviewing Married at First Sight, season 19, episode 11 and 12. Episode 11 is titled I'm Done. I'm Done. We start off with Will and that whole situation at the table when they were at Lake Travis and Brittany was just a crying mess. A crying mess, totally incapable of regulating her emotions at the dinner table. And she gets up and goes to the bathroom. Megan, actually, surprisingly, considering how closed off emotionally she is, especially with the women, she was the first one and the only woman, actually, the only woman in person in general to go check on her, which is very interesting. Belinda didn't get up. Jaden didn't get up. Like, they don't give a justice for Brittany in that moment. But yeah, only Megan gave a damn and actually got up and checked in on her. Everyone else at the table actually finally pushed Will to get up and check on her. But what's interesting was that he needed the push. Like, he didn't even think to get up his own self. Like, he didn't consider, hey, let me check on my wife. Anyway, we move on. We see them in the kitchen. Well, we don't see them. We hear them because they close off the bathroom. So we hear Will talking to Brittany, saying to her, I'm sorry if what I said, that whole emotionalist apology that he does. He does it again. And I think he says, I choose us. I want to be with us. I'm here for us. Like, he's trying to say the things that could get her out of this funk. And eventually it works. We jump into a game night situation with all the couples. We learn that Jalen has had more partners, sexual partners, than Megan. I don't know why they were comparing Megan in that situation, but Jalen admitted to having a lot of partners. And of course, it's just weird, right? Belinda's in the house and her potential stepdaddy's in the house. Look, this is not the type of mother-daughter relationship I want. Like, that's not. There has to be a boundary. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how grown you are. You are not talking about sex in front of me, and I'm your parent. It's just the weirdest thing ever. So we jump into Brittany and Will. They're laying in the bed, and Will basically admits to always being emotionally detached. Britt actually thanks him for checking in on her, and she appreciates that. And she's trying to show gratitude in this moment. And I just feel like there's a disconnect between them. I don't know what it is, but I mean, Britt's not crazy for that, right? Britt says that she appreciates the other women at the table, everyone else at the table, basically validating her feelings because she felt like, was she going crazy or was she not? Belinda says that she would say yes on decision day. Then we get into Chad, though. Chad has been feeling very uncomfortable in their shared apartment, primarily because Belinda wants to be married to the dog, quite frankly. Okay. The dog stays on their bed. Mind you, Chad has actively said consistently, I don't want the dog on the bed. The dog should not be on the bed. Yet, I don't know if Belinda just kind of smiles it away or she acts like she doesn't hear him. But Chad has been consistent on that front. we get to hear a lot of Chad's frustrations with this whole process actually. So the fourth wall being broken, and Chad is saying like he's sick of the show. He's sick of the schedule, he's sick of the filming, he's sick of the producers talking to him. He wants more of an authentic, real experience with his wife. And look, I get why he is saying that. I can only imagine how daunting it may be to film long hours, to be on camera, to get a scene, right? These things are probably not as appeasing to anyone. But Chad, this I feel like he said from the first episode when we met him, was it the first or the second? Nonetheless, the first time we met him on the show, y'all, I swear he mentioned that he applied to Married at First Sight more than once. Okay, so this is not his first get around. This was not a new show that he decided to just suddenly be a part of. No, he's been aware of this show, and if I'm correct, please correct me if I'm wrong. He has applied to Married at First Sight before. So what did he expect? Now, I mean, I don't think you should be able to really determine what type of schedule or how life would be in this situation. But at the very least, I feel like he should have expected more of a controlled environment. And he is someone who likes to be in control. When he's at work, he is the manager, he's the one in control. He's the one making the orders, right? Making the decisions. And to be a fish out of water in this circumstance, he feels very uncomfortable, and that's understandable. So I'll look, I like Chad. Chad could do no wrong by me. Rhonda and Pat. So I'm noticing throughout this season, we see a lot of these couples spending time at their respective homes with like as a couple. We don't see them really spend a lot of time solely in their shared apartment. We see them go back to their apartments or go back to their actual homes and hang out there and have gatherings there. I just think that's weird. And I really want them to have an isolated experience of what it looks like to live in a shared home, a home that is shared between them, rather than, oh, I'm going to my new husband's house that I don't live in, not yet at least, and I'm gonna spend some time there. It just feels so disjointed to me. But anyway, we get to Rhonda and Pat. They're at her house. They're eating Torchy's tacos, and I feel like that was an ad. It was giving ad because I definitely saw the name and it wasn't hidden at all. Rhonda brings up the whole ticket thing. Remember last episode we learned that Pat was trying to do a nice gesture for Rhonda, and Rhonda is just annoyed that he didn't check in with her. He didn't ask if she would be okay with this date or with this outing or booking it at all. Pat accepts her feedback and he says, I apologize for not coordinating it well. Rhonda doesn't like the word that he used. He doesn't like that he said coordinate. She says, that's an interesting choice of words. Why don't you mean what you apologize for not asking me, for not inviting me. Instead, you just kind of told me about this event that you bought a ticket for as if I was already available and it would be interested in going. Girl, Rhonda is insufferable. Rhonda is this face right here. Do you see this face? She is insufferable. And Pat, I feel like he suffers from low self-esteem. Has old of a man he is suffering from low self-esteem, and it seems to be evident in the types of romantic relationships he finds himself in. Remember, in his last marriage, he was unhappy for 30 years. At what point do you speak up for yourself and be like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get on. I'm going to go ahead and leave this situation because this ain't working out. So yeah, Rhonda brings up that whole the ticket gate. She talks about the calendar talk and how she feels like it just feels like I don't matter. It just feels like I don't matter. You don't care about what I. Then why the fuck am I talking? Literally, she just starts spazzing out. Pat feels like she only focuses on the negative, and basically, no matter what he does, is not good enough. And Pat, you're right about that. You're right about that. And I hope Pat, even though we see him throughout this season, we see him apologizing to her. We see him bending backwards for her. We see him always acquiescing to her and like, yes, yes, master. Yeah, we see him always doing that. I really do hope he finds some balls by decision day and says, you know what, bitch, it's gonna be a no for me, dog. It's gonna be a no for me. I hope he does that. And I hope he says bitch too. I hope he calls her a bitch too. We get to Jayla and Belinda. They FaceTime. Belinda's telling her daughter about how Chad got upset. And he's just upset again solely with the whole filming schedule. He feels annoyed. Apparently, the producers of the show itself likes to take up a lot of your time. And despite an initial schedule for filming given to the cast, they have to change the schedule and adjust it, and doing all that is inconvenient, right? If you are someone who works full time, if you are someone who has a strict schedule, this could be very inconvenient. And Chad is just rightfully upset. But in this moment, we don't see Belinda being understanding. We don't see Belinda trying to understand his perspective at all. Instead, she's annoyed because Chad included her name in the text saying, my wife and I don't appreciate you changing the schedule on us, type of thing. Like, he's just naturally including her. But Belinda's like, don't. I'm good. I'm trying to be on TV. Don't take me out of this or don't put me in this mess. And I find that to be so interesting, I think Belinda lacks any point of view outside of her own. And she's all about herself. And granted, maybe she is just very traumatized from her last marriage, but I still don't think that is a good enough excuse to go about this marriage with Chad and not give a damn about what he thinks, how he feels, or anything about him. It's all about Belinda. It's giving a little bit of Rhonda here, a little bit. She's not as audacious as Rhonda is, but Belinda is more self-centered than we are realizing. Okay. We jump into Meg and Derek. They want to know the sex of the baby as soon as they can. And it's just a cute moment. We see them really kind of getting along and really just blending in with each other. So that's cute. Something's going right, right? We get to Will. Will's birthday is here. Britt actually flew in his mom for his birthday, and that was a nice gesture because she knew that Will is closer with his mom, and she decided to make this happen to fly her in. So that was pretty sweet. They sit down at the table, and the mom feels like they're doing well. They kiss, and then maybe from the angle of the camera, it looks like the mom was like leaning in and just like watching them kiss even more intently. I feel like even that was inappropriate. Like, why are we kissing in front of the mom? Am I a prude? I just feel like some things, y'all, should not happen. I don't care how old you are still my child. Okay, that's my opinion. So we jump into Belinda and Chad. No, I have it. Sorry, I'm responding to a text. So Chad again is just he's just saying how he feels the whole shit is bullshit. Literally, he says it verbatim. He feels the whole show is bullshit. He does not want to be a part of this show. I ain't got time for this. And he doesn't want to continue to adjust his schedule for the filming schedule because it keeps on changing and it's inconvenient and it's inconsiderate. Again, these are all valid feelings and opinions. And I think had Belinda showed any level of understanding, of empathy towards him, then I think Chad would have appreciated her more. But instead, she's just annoyed. She's annoyed because, oh, how dare he shows any feelings of anger or any feelings of frustration. Like, he is a whole human being. He has full emotions just like you. Let him express how he wants to express, or let him express his emotion. He's not hitting you. Like, what's the big deal? Then Chad goes on to say that he feels that the show is driving a wedge between Jalen and Josh. And this is now the issue that is beginning between Chad and Belinda. Why is that? Because Belinda is so staunch in saying, no, that's not true. I could go to the source right now and tell you that's not true. I don't even have to go to the source. That's not true. There is no wedge going between Jalen and Josh. And she was not even trying to hear Chad's position, Chad's just understanding of why he said what he said. Again, Belinda doesn't give a damn about this man. She doesn't care. If he shows any inconvenience to her feelings, if he challenges her, if he dares to ask her to not have the dog on the bed, right? If he asks her to be understanding to his perspective, that is disrespectful to Belinda, or she feels like he is not just caring about her the way she wants to be cared for. And it's just selfish. It's just selfish. We get to Josh and Jalen. They bridge their friend groups together, and it's awkward. It's awkward, y'all. I think Josh and Jalen are just donezo. They seem to have started strong in this show, in this season, but we definitely see a decline. They don't like to do anything together, meaning they don't have any hobbies that are already shared. They don't have any over. They don't have no crossover hobbies. When the friend asks, I think the producer even probably gestured the friend to ask this question, but the friend asked, oh, what hobbies do you guys do together? Or what are some things that you guys like doing together? They could not answer that question. They could not answer that question because you have Josh talking about he wants to do Burning Man all day, every day. And then you have Jalen talking about, I just want to get my nails done. Like, okay. We get to Meg and Derek. They decide to have their kids, not their kids, but their friends' kids over to babysit and really get the feel of what it looks like to have kids. This is actually great because Derek has said from the beginning that he wants 3 children. Meg was hesitant at first, but she definitely came around to it. And the amount of kids that they babysat were 3. Okay, so that seemed to have gone well, and it's looking good. It's looking good for Meg and Derek. We jump into a scene that is caught on surveillance between Britt and Will. Britt starts off the conversation by saying, I really appreciate you. And she's holding his hand. This is like a couple of days before Will has to leave for work because, Will travels for work. And she starts off and then she finally tells him she loves him. Mind you, before this point, she has not told him she loves him. And when she said that, she hugged on him, and then you see him say, I love you. So he does say it back, but still, I don't know. I'm not trying to nitpick, but I think Will, maybe he was trying to say it sweetly or undercover. I don't know, but I think he was saying, like, who says I love you and then I love you in return like that? Like, usually if you're gonna say it back, you say I love you too, right? You don't just say I love you. You know what I mean? Again, Will is just a weirdo. It's just weird. Child, let's get into this scene. So we're getting into the last scene for this episode, right? Or the last major scene, I should say. So Pat meets with his friend Adrian, this guy named Adrian, who he said he's been friends with for 42 years. Pat, I can tell you right now, this ain't your friend. This man is not your friend. He's never been your friend. And you need to get away from him, Apollo. So Pat tells us that he's been keeping Adrian abreast of all the happenings in their marriage. And it seemed to be from the beginning that Adrian was not only aware, but on the side of his friend, right? Was understanding of the frustration that his friend has. As soon as big personality Rhonda comes in with her big ass energy, Adrian immediately jumps ship. Okay. He starts telling Pat in front of Rhonda, basically, your behavior is stupid, you're stupid, and your hair is stupid. He starts saying stupid to describe his friend, his friend of 42 years for this woman, this crazy ass woman talking about, oh, he doesn't listen to me, he cuts me off. But what's interesting is throughout the time when Rhonda was explaining herself, mind you, again, Rhonda's the same with everybody. I noticed Rhonda doesn't let people speak. She doesn't let people jump into the conversation. She doesn't let people share their perspective. She just wants to go on and on and on. Yet Adrian was finding moments to kind of cut her off, but not in a rude way, but he was trying to find moments to show her, I care, or I agree, I hear you, right? But I noticed when he was cutting her off, maybe it was the editing, I don't know, but I think that Rhonda was getting annoyed. You could see it in her face. She was just like suddenly trying to calm herself down from wanting to scream because, oh, he spoke over her yet again, or she was just trying to calm herself down, and she's rolling her eyes. She's trying to hold herself together because, oh, how dare this guy finishes my sentence. Okay. But on the other hand, it seems like Adrian was just trying to appear as if he was on her side and that he understands her. And he kept saying, yeah, I get it. I understand. I understand. Right. Anyway, Adrian cuts her off saying how he agrees with her. But again, yeah, I wrote down, you could see Rhonda is annoyed. So I don't know if she was going to get annoyed with him for cutting her off, or can I finish? Can I just finish type of thing? Anyway, she ends up leaving. She ends up walking off and she starts crying. And I thought it was because of what I just said, right? Oh, your friend keeps cutting me off. No one has let me speak. No one lets me speak. I thought she was gonna do one of those again. But as she was talking to the producer, she actually says, I'm just so taken aback because Adrian, who I just met, he gets it. He just gets it. And it's like, girl, you are crying because he gets it, quote unquote. Oh, because he just agrees everything with you, and that's enough for you to walk off. And she's saying, oh, well, Pat doesn't get it. Pat doesn't get it. Pat feels he is held to a standard he cannot achieve, and he doesn't want to be last anymore. He doesn't want to be unconsidered or just not considered anymore. So we get to see how in this moment Pat is still belittled and made to seem like it's his fault yet again. So now it becomes this moment of Rhonda trying to like kind of chastise him or teach him, like, I just want you to be yourself, just be yourself. This and anyway, so Pat's saying how he doesn't feel like he can't be his full self because he's always held to a standard that he can't achieve. All of those feelings are valid. You know why? Because it's evident in this marriage, Pat. You're totally right. You're not lost. You're not making this up. But in this moment, you have Rhonda gaslighting him and his friend of 42 years, Adrian, gaslighting him. Talking about, that's bullshit, man. Every day is an opportunity to be yourself. That's bullshit. Like, I would have flipped the table. Fuck you and this friendship. How about that? We get to Belinda. We get to that scene. Okay, so Belinda talks to Jalen and she tells Jalen about how Josh said that production is putting a wedge between her and between him and Jalen. And then Jalen wants to suddenly act all obtuse, and we get that, oh no, production's not doing that. That's not happening. The text that I saw, or that's in his phone, it just shows that apparently Chad was asking Josh if he wanted to get together and do some type of archery thing, but Josh basically declined him and said it's a busy week, I'll let you know, and that was that. So I feel like in this case, I think Josh is the liar. I think Josh has shown himself to be a liar, whether it's a big lie or a little lie, and he thinks it's not a big deal type of lie. I think he's someone who doesn't stand on his 10 toes. Okay, because let's move on to episode 12, titled Decision Day is Near. We see in this episode how Josh, remember the same Josh who's talking about how he needs to go to Burning Man every weekend, right? The same Josh who's talking about he needs to do something adrenaline rush, the same Josh who was crying about that, suddenly tells Jalen, you know what? I think about Burning Man, I think about going there, and I think about you not with me, and I feel like it's just not worth it anymore. It's just not worth it. So I'm not gonna go to Burning Man. I'm never gonna go to Burning Man ever again. Like, what? Suddenly you're gonna lose who you are because this bitch don't want to get her nails dirty? You sound dumb. So Josh doesn't have any balls. Pat don't have any balls. It's just a sad sight to see. Where's the misogyny when you need it? Where's the misogyny when you need it? Meg and Derek announced their pregnancy to Meg's parents. Initially, they thought it was a prank because Meg's mom, she knows how Meg gets down, but of course, it is not a prank. They're super happy for her and them in general. We get to Chad and Belinda. They are on a phone call. I hate when they do this though. Like, if we can't see each other in person, then let's not do it. Okay, I get it. It's probably an emergency phone call. We got to do it right here, right now. But I need one of these experts to show up. Where has Dr. Pepper been? Where's Dr. Pepper in all of this? I have yet to see her meet with any of these couples, whether independently or collectively. Dr. Pia actually empathizes with Chad, says how basically you've been out of your comfort zone, and I'm sure it's been challenging. That level of empathy and understanding definitely came a long way because Chad, here's the thing with Chad. He may give the impression just off of looks that he's this big, bad, angry guy that you can't have a conversation with. But in actuality, he's very understanding. He's very easy to talk to, and he lets himself open up and be open to any type of feedback, reasonably so, right? He's not no this Chad got some balls, okay? He's not Pat, and he's not Josh. He's gonna stand on it, okay? And I respect that. That's the misogyny I'm looking for. It's like, it's not misogyny. It's definitely not. Anyway, so Belinda says how, oh, I went to the source, and then basically saying her source is Jalen. Jalen don't know shit either, okay? And saying, oh, well, Chad lied about the whole production putting a wedge between Jalen and Josh. That's not true. And Chad saying, like, he just kind of lets it go because I think in that moment he realizes if Josh is not going to tell the truth, then why should I continue to beat this dead horse? It's not going to work. Chad also explains how he feels frustrated that he can't be intimate with Belinda because Belinda's trying to talk about, oh, well, he does his whole wind down. Like, he winds down from the day in a separate room and he doesn't come in the bed. Yeah, bitch, because the bitch is in the bed. You got two bitches in the bed. You got Belinda and the dog. I wouldn't want to come to bed either. This big, and it's not even like a small, like, a Shih Tzu, a Chihuahua. No, it's a standard size poodle or golden doodle. It's a standard size. Okay, so it's a big one. So you mean to tell me he's supposed to be on the bed when he already told you? And Chad is a big guy. And Belinda, you're not small either. What are we saying right now? Get the dog off the bed. Why don't you go marry it then? We get to Britt and Will, and they're on this catamaran. and they start discussing what love means to them, right? Will says how he feels a strong connection with her, but Britt now starts asking him questions like, okay, how does strong connection correlate with love? He's like, well, what do you mean? Like, what does love, what are you trying to say? So he's basically explaining how he loves through his action and his behavior. And yet Brit actually, she loves through her feelings, which is just so, it's so semantical. What are we talking about? Either way, when you're loving someone, both of those things interchange, right? You're going to show it through your action, and you're going to show it through your emotion, through your feelings, through your, through your words. So it's all encompassing. But because Will didn't say I love you in the way that Brit needs that, it's not enough. So Will expresses that. He's like, look, it just feels like no matter what I say, it's not good enough. If I'm not saying the way you want me to say, it's not good enough. So Britt immediately she tenses up. She's like, no, I was just asking. It's fine if you love me out of obligation. It is what it is. And it's like, girl, what are you saying right now? When did he say he's loving you out of obligation? She's making it more robotic than it actually was. Accept the way he loves you and let it be so. So then she starts crying and she's like, I just want to genuinely apologize. I just messed up the moment. I didn't mean to. I'm so sorry. I'm crying. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I feel like her tears is yet again another example of her lacking the emotional regulation, lacking just a reflection of oneself. Like, why are you letting this get to your way of calmness? Meg and Derek go car shopping and they get a new car just like that. Like, damn, bitch, how's your credit score looking? You just got a new car like that. I might have to move some things around before I just get approved. Anyway, Belinda meets Chad at his house because they agreed to meet and discuss what's been happening between them and how they've been hitting a wall and they want to make it work, right? So I wrote down, she might as well marry her dog from the way she defends him. Why did I write that down? I wrote that down because Chad was saying how he wants the dog to get it together. The dog keeps barking incessantly and he doesn't like that. But then he says the dog barks all day long. She's like, he doesn't bark all day long. How you know he barks all day long? And Chad's trying to say, because I've been home when you are at work, or I've gone home through like periodically throughout the day, and he's barking. Well, that's because you pulled up. He's gonna bark when you pull up, or that's because you're about to leave. He's gonna bark. Like, always finding an excuse, always defending this dog. And then it just got so intense in that moment. Belinda says, okay, I guess it's not working. No, Chad says, okay, this is not how I thought this conversation was going to go. Belinda says, me neither. She gets up and leaves. Literally just immediately walks off. Instead of just saying, you know what? This was not how I wanted the conversation to go either. Let's just reset. Let's just reset. You know what I mean? Like, she immediately walks off, doesn't even try to calm herself down. She just kind of immediately shuts down. We get to Jalen and Josh, like I said. So yeah, they're at the dinner and he takes her to this nice fancy restaurant where steak is very delicious here. And then Josh tells her, if you're not going to Burning Man, then I won't either. Fuck Burning Man. It's like, where was this energy before though? Because you was crying. You was about to have a whole fit that she didn't want to enjoy this hobby of yours or this lifestyle of yours, and that she didn't care to even inquire. And as he was saying this, you see Jalen's face smirking, like, got him to do what I want him to do. And I think if Josh continues to be this way, he is going to resent her and he will talk to that ex and they will go to Burning Man together. Okay, how about that? Go to Burning Man with your man. Hello? We jump into Chad and Belinda. They finally meet again at the shared apartment. Dr. Pia joins them. Again, Chad is talking about how he's out of his element. Dr. Pia is showing sympathy and care. Belinda shares how she has had basically a traumatic experience in her last marriage where basically he shows he showed a lot of anger and that made her uncomfortable, and she's seeing bits of that in Chad. And I don't think that's fair. That's not fair. Chad is not your ex-husband, Belinda. You have to let that go and get help. It seems like you're not ready to get married again, because that's not okay. And I feel like Chad, I wish he would have said that. Like, I'm not your ex-husband. And I don't think it's fair for you to compare me or to hold me to the standard as you did him. I'm not him. I have every right to show full range of my emotions and not apologize for that, right? I'm not hitting you. I'm not cold shouldering you, right? Come on. We get to Meg and Derek. Let's see. Mention just because we're. Oh yeah. Okay. So Meg's talking about how, look, I'm pregnant. I know it's your baby, but don't feel like you're trapped. If you don't want to be with me, you don't have to be with me. I'm an independent Black woman. Hold on, I'm white. But Meg was still trying to hold herself like, look, I don't need you. It is what it is. But Derek was not budging. He's like, no, I see your house. I see your parents' house. I'm staying in this motherfucking marriage, okay? I'm gonna reap off this privilege. I don't give a damn. We get to Rhonda, and again, it's the Rhonda show, and I don't want to sound insensitive because, of course, grieving the loss of anyone is hard. But Rhonda, your mom's husband of 40 plus years lived a long life. We have to stop. We have to stop having the same range of emotions to someone who's in their last days compared to someone whose life was cut short. There's a difference, y'all. And this is not to be insensitive, but come on. Your mom's husband was in his 80s, 90s. He was old. He was old. I'm about to say something else, but he's not Octamaroon, whatever. He was old. Damn. Okay. This is a natural part of life. So that was the Rhonda show. You can't talk about anything else but this. Pat, of course, had to continue to walk on eggshells. And so he's trying to be careful with what he says and says, I know it's been a long day. I'm so sorry. You had to navigate a lot. Just basically trying to affirm her every second of every day. And I think that's just a problem here. It's always about Rhonda. Remember when we started off this season, we learned that Pat lives with his mom or his mom lives with him. Either way, they live together. And he's living with her because she is an older woman now. And his father passed away suddenly as in 3 years ago. We don't see him talking about his dad's death every second of every day and break it down like Rhonda did over her dad's death that was 30 plus years ago when she was a teenager. We don't hear that. We don't hear that from Pat. We don't hear Pat saying to Rhonda how it's hard seeing his mother age and probably in her last days and how difficult that is for him. We don't hear him express those emotions because Rhonda doesn't give him room to do so. So it's the time to separate before decision day. This season is wrapping up quick, y'all. Isn't that crazy? I love that. We get to the last scene. Okay, so Britt is gonna miss Will as he leaves before decision day. She tells him she loves him, and he asks, "What kind of love?" And like he was trying to be funny, and then she says, oh, "He's okay, whatever." Anyway, we get to a part in their scene in which she says, "What if I never see you again?" Something like that. And he's like, "Yeah, what if you don't ever see me again?" And she's like, "I was kidding. I was just going off of your joke. Whatever." So we get a little snippet of like within this last scene of Britt preparing for decision day. And we see Will talking to us in his confessional apart from Brittany. And he's saying how he called Brittany and told her, "I'm going to say no. I'm just giving you a heads up so you don't feel too hurt or attacked or in any way, but I'm going to say no." And he's explained to us that he's going to say no because he doesn't want to be in a relationship where his feelings isn't valued, where his feelings aren't valued, and where he feels like he has to always say the right things or just
do everything according to how she wants it to be, and the way that he says things aren't good enough, basically. Britta's about to lose her shit, quote unquote, and a part of her feels like she doesn't believe him and wants to fight for him and still show up at this decision day date for their marriage. So we'll see how that goes, y'all. I can't wait to watch the last episode of this season. Well, the second to last episode, because reunion. But I can't wait to see how decision day goes. I really hope Pat says no to Rhonda, and I hope he goes first. And we'll see what's going on with Will and Britt. But anyway, let me know what y'all think about this episode, both of these episodes. Be sure to be subscribed. That is your way of supporting this channel, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.